to Witsup headquarters and the Witsup couch.
With cracks.
We just can't, you're not that short, so we just can't quite get it right.
I'm in the crack.
Anyway, she's in the crack, loves a crack, have a crack, could go on, but we'll get serious for a moment. Sorry, I haven't introduced you. This is Carrie Lester. Say hi.
Hi everyone.
Now, Kaz comes from Australia, but you don't spend as much time in Australia these days anymore. Where have you flown in from in preparation for the big show on Saturday?
You are correct. No, I don't spend a lot of time at home in Australia anymore. Scott and I are now based ourselves for most of the year in Southern California. We have a home we rent a home in Cardiff.
Yep.
So that's our home for the most of the year, and then we spend our summer in Europe, in Switzerland. So yeah, we've the last few years we've done the Kona prep at home in San Diego, where many past great Kona athletes have done their preparation. So it works for us. It's nice to be at home. So that's where we've just flown in from.
Nice one. And you're all sorted, settling in okay?
Yeah, we are staying in the same place that we have for the last few years.
Yep.
No new surprises. Everything's
Status quo.
status quo.
Excellent. Now you're one of these, I think I say this to you every single time we do an interview. You always fly under the radar, and it frustrates, don't you think? You do.
I do.
Yeah, correct. Which I find it frustrating because I do try to follow how you're going, but I think it's because maybe you don't do as many Ironman branded races. You still get to Kona, obviously, but you do a lot like Embraman that you love going back to quite a few times, and those sort of European races which aren't huge on the global scene. So do you think that's a fair?
I think that's definitely one of the reasons.
Yeah.
If it's a little bit different where if you're in France, for example, I would have a completely different following, and I wouldn't be flying under the radar as much, in those races in France, whether it's even Ironman France or one of the races that isn't an Ironman branded race. I guess, I seem to get a lot more coverage over there. Whether that's just through the media or just we do race a lot more when we're over there, so we're constantly kind of, I guess, putting ourselves out there. But we also keep quite a quiet profile, on our social media. We don't do that because we want to be sneaky or we have anything to hide or anything. We just when we're out training, we don't post, photos a lot. We don't, do a lot of the stories. So we're not constantly putting ourselves out there. We're not at a lot of the Ironman races, I guess, throughout the year. We might only do one or two. And that's it. So it's
that's all right. That is why. But we're here to say you shouldn't be under the radar. You're always a quality contender here in Kona, and you've proven it time and time again. You're actually quite a consistent performer here.
Well, I think, I was looking back, in 2010 was the first time I raced in Hawaii. It was actually my second professional race.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I look back at that and I really was so inexperienced. I almost say to myself I had no place being here. When I look at the girls that I was racing at that time and how they would have prepared, and then think about how I had prepared that year, and just I guess who I was as a person and an athlete. I look at that and I think I didn't even know why did I think I had a chance lining up, but it taught me a lot about the race and what kind of athlete you need to be to be a contender here. So Kona kind of didn't come back onto my radar until 2016 when I was starting to get to a point I guess in my career where I was more mature, I was more stable, you know, in training, and I was putting out the consistent work, and I thought, okay, well, you know, maybe I actually have a shot at the top 10. And I always said that, you know, I was never going to come back until I had, if I wasn't going to be a contender in the top 10, then, you know, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. It's a massive outlay to come here.
It's a huge outlay. You know, and even for me, you know, coming into the race this year, I feel like I've prepared the best I have. In the shape that I've been, you know, it's better than the last few years, but I still might put out a performance on Saturday that might be the best in my career, but I still might get 15th and get no money. Like at a world championship. So, I mean, we can sit here and argue all day about, you know, the state of the sport and the money and, you know, but it's hard. Like getting into the top 10 is hard, and when you've put everything on the line and you walk away, you know, 15th or 20th, and it's a hard kind of pill to swallow. But I guess, you know, all you can do is know that you've done your best on the day, and if you've done that, then, you know, you have to be happy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting that you say you could have, you personally could have the best race of your life this year, but this year especially, I feel like
there's a lot of new people.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
We had this discussion last night, and you know, we were talking about, you know, a possible top 5, and I said, like, there is like 20 girls that, I mean, for me, in my mind, I think for the top 3 girls, I pretty much have a good idea of who's going to be in that mix. But then you extend that. I'm not saying anything. That's the secret. But there's, you know, if you, okay, let's extend it to the top 5. I could put 20 names in those positions from basically 3 to 5. Now drop that to 10th place, and I could, you know, there's a mix of people that can go in there. There's we have new girls racing their first Kona. Some of them are going to have good days, some of them aren't going to have good days. And then you have girls that have come back from, of course, Rinny, and you've got the women that are coming back from having babies. And then you have, of course, the same kind of women that we've seen on the start line for the last few years. Some of them didn't have good races last year. They're going to have a good race this year, and vice versa. Like,
it's going to be great. It's going to be a great race.
We have a really exciting women's race this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. I'm glad I'm here.
Good. We're glad you're here with a new addition.
Yes. Ooh, I'm stoked that she gets to meet you guys. She won't remember. Obviously. But there's a part of me that just goes, I get to introduce her to some of the greatest athletes on the planet, triathlon regardless, just the greatest athletes, but just some of the greatest women and role models who I've had the pleasure of meeting. So and I get to tell her about that when she's older.
Good.
It's cool. Oh, let's move on, because hormones make me emotional. And I'm not an emotional person. I don't like it. I want to talk about your T-shirt. Where did you get it? No. KISS, keep it simple. Is coaching group. How do you describe it?
That's our coaching business. Scott and Brad and Sam are the 3, I guess, heads of the business. And they started the business 2 years ago now, or kind of 2 years ago. We started it mainly with a group that was based out of New York. And since then, you know, it's grown where we have, you know, coaches now that are attracting athletes all over the world. So we're, you know, trying to just kind of build that up, and we now have, you know, camps. We had our first team camp last year. That was really successful. We had that in February, and we're going to have that again, you know, this coming February in San Diego. So it's going really well. It's just we're getting, you know, more requests all the time. So, yeah, we're just trying to get the name out there and
KISS.
Attract more people. I mean, and what it is, like the KISS, the KIS, coaching, keep it simple. It's really like that's our foundation of the business. There's nothing, special in our coaching or what we do. There's no cookie cutter plans. It's all, customized plans for every athlete, but it's basic. It's not basic, but it's the basic sessions that anyone can do. It will apply to your different levels. But it's just getting the work done consistently. There's nothing fancy about it.
Don't overcomplicate it.
There's no complications in the work. So and I think it's funny when we get athletes that have come to us that have been coached by some other coaches, or they've been exposed to, I don't know, they read things on the internet, or they take online programs from the internet, and they've just got all this stuff kind of in their head, and then when we give them work, they're like, oh, but shouldn't I be doing this and this and this? I'm like, why? You tell me why, and like let's talk about it. But it's the foundation is like just keep it simple.
And I love the name. Growing up, we used to use it in the sports that I used to play, but there used to be another S on the end, and it was keep it simple, stupid. But
that's not a really good business kind of.
No, not really. But the term keep it simple, I don't think I could come up with a phrase that could sum you up. I don't mean that in an offensive way, but sum up your approach to the sport any better. Like, that's what I think of when I think about you as an athlete. You just keep it pretty chill, pretty simple, don't overcomplicate things. You're not stressed about social media. It's just getting out there, getting the job done, and enjoying what you do. That's
pretty much me.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Scott's a big part of that. He's been coaching me for the last few years now, and that's really, the backbone of where I've come from in my performance and how I've matured as an athlete. But we do keep stuff simple. We do have coaching advice, and we subscribe, and we do the Tower 26 swim program. So we do work a lot with Jerry Rodriguez, so that's helped us. As well, and Scott works with Matt Bottrell, the cycling. And so we have we have advisors, we have other coaches that help us. But our basic model is we keep it simple. Like, we get out there every day, we do the training. We're consistent. Nothing fancy about us.
Well, just
unfortunately, we have a pretty kick-ass Sunday fun day.
Oh,
cookouts.
All right, and I assume that includes a couple of beers.
Definitely.
Gotcha. Now, we put a shout out to people to see if they could send in some questions to some of the athletes I was interviewing today. So I'm going to ask you a question from one of our followers. If you could swap an element of your race with another athlete, what would you swap with, who and why?
Wow.
Hey.
I'll put that back out and say, how many people, again, if you ask that to every female, that I'd be interested, because I'm pretty sure most people would say, let's swap out the swim for Lucy Charles' swim, okay? I think a lot of the men would actually say that.
Yes.
Let's just say that. But
well, she did the swim on the weekend.
Scotty's like putting his hand up. Me. Yeah.
She did the swim, the Ohana, or I'm not too sure, the swim that they do here. And I think Josh Amberger got out a second.
Only a second,
yeah. And I think
she could have tripped him or something. Like, come on.
What was she thinking? Right. Okay, so the swim, you'd take Lucy Charles.
I'd take a better swimmer for sure. Or of course, I'd take Rinny's run any day.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how she runs with her return. On Saturday. I'm going to let you go because you've got appointments to.
I have appointments
to. Thank you so much for swinging by. It's always good to catch up with you.
Thank you, Steph. It was lovely to see you in your little cute packet of joy.
So happy. Good luck. Have a ripper next Saturday.
Thanks.
Nice.